Okay, we are live again. We can start.
You can now start.
Welcome back. So in this session 2 of day 1, we would go ahead with discussions, questions and answers, and if time permits, a short meditation also. So I would request anyone who would like to ask a question, you may unmute yourself and ask, or if you put it in the chat, as I said earlier, I would read it out for you.
Ananda.
So anyone can start.
Shinde speaking.
And I think we have a question, Basavaraja Reddy.
No, I have a question.
The purpose of meditation or mindfulness is to gain mastery over the mind. How Buddha's mindfulness is different from others? Brother Ananda. How Buddha's mindfulness is different from others?
Yeah, depends whether they are pre-Buddha or after Buddha, I suppose. The Buddha's teachings on mindfulness seem to have been unique in the sense that at that time they were not yet available in that form. Most of the, if not all of the meditations were based on concentration, exclusive concentration on an object's internal or external, and not on the use of awareness or mindfulness. So in that sense, Buddha's mindfulness is in a way unique and different from the others. But when you say different from other mindfulnesses, then if it is mindfulness, now for instance, the great contemporary guru on mindfulness is John Kabat-Zinn, for instance, right? John Kabat-Zinn, the American psychologist, I think he is. He has developed a kind of therapy, this mindfulness-based stress mindfulness-based stress, overcoming stress through mindfulness, let's put it that way. So that is basically similar, if not the same, as Buddha's message, except he did not mention that it came from the Buddha. So yeah, the question is a little bit ambiguous when you say what is the difference in mindfulness of the Buddha and mindfulness of others. Let's put it that way. The Buddha did not preach that you have to have a mind full of things. That is definitely the case. And some are teaching mindfulness under the name of mindfulness, but they are sort of storing more and more information into our brain about mindfulness. So that's not really the original teaching on mindfulness. It is, being aware of, but not, how do you say, not thinking about all these things. Thinking about is quite different than to be aware of something. So if these other meditations that the person who asked the question is talking about, I don't know which ones she or he mentioned or meant.
Okay.
Or my email address somebody wants.
Sure. You can put it there in the chat. People a note and.
Oh, I can put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Shall I do that now before we forget?
Yes. And while you're writing your email, There is one brother, Duryodhan Sahu. He asks, how to practice Vipassana sadhana in our daily life? If some tips could be given to him.
Yes, I'm just trying to finish them. So Olande, ananda@gmail.com. Simple.
Thank you.
To practice this mindfulness in daily life. Actually, in that book, which I recommended to read and which is downloadable, it also has a chapter about the practice of mindfulness in daily life, application of mindfulness. It's not all formal sitting and walking meditation and things like that, but also, for instance, being mindful when you are doing the dishes and being mindful when you are going for a walk, and being mindful basically at any time whenever possible. So it is not that you have to separate mindfulness or meditation from daily life so much. Some people think that it's two completely different things. Well, of course, we do have maybe the advice of finding a place, a quiet place, and a good time, early morning maybe, and at the end of the day, if you're not too tired, to sit down and maybe practice this in a particular way while sitting, maybe with the mindfulness of breathing, with anapanasati. That can be done more actually really only when you do the formal mindfulness practice while sitting. You can't be 100% mindful of your breath and do other kind of things. You can really be only fully mindful of something and not of 2 or 3 or 4 things at the same time. This multitasking, which people are doing, actually means that they're not doing things fully, or only partially of several things at the same time. So they don't get really well done sometimes. Unless you're a real master of it, multi-tracking, I don't know, multitasking. I hope that's an answer to that question.
Okay. There is one brother, Ganesh Kumar. He writes, could we take the anatma to be similar to the theosophical statement that one may enter the light but never touch the flame?
One may enter the light but never touch the flame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it depends. You can interpret, you have to probably interpret that statement. And if you think that, for instance, nibbana or nirvana is the light, but then where is the flame? Is there a difference between the flame and the light in that case? How can you say this? It sounds a nice statement, and I think it's probably well meant, but I don't quite get the full meaning of it, because like the light and the flame, what is the difference between the flame and the light in this case? You can get to the light but not touch the flame, as if the flame in this sense sounds like is kind of higher somewhere, from a higher quality than the light. Maybe it's the source of the light, so you can be in the light, but you may not be able to get to the very source. That's the way I sort of interpret it now.
Okay, brother Shikhar writes here that while somebody was watching this YouTube live of this session, there is one brother Balaji Narayan Swami. He's asking, what is the mindfulness meditation of Buddha and JK's, I mean J. Krishnamurti's explanation on meditation?
Oh yeah, that's very interesting. I personally have attended J. Krishnamurti's talks from about 1971. Yeah, I'm now 73, so I could attend in Amsterdam and in Zanen and in London and in, also in Adyar, several, quite a lot, most of it. And as far as I could understand is that when Krishnamurti talks about choiceless awareness as a kind of ideal state of mind without any kind of, how would you call it, duality. See, the duality of the speaker or the listener or the observer and the observed, all that kind of thing, and just oneness in the observation, then I think that is very, very similar, if not the same, as the the Buddhist meditation. Only thing is that, fortunately or unfortunately, as a kind of organized religion, Buddhism has also organized the texts on the meditation teachings. It is not 100% sure whether they were exactly the same in those days as the Buddha was living, but they do say that he gave a gradual kind of approach to the understanding and the insight and the wisdom, and not an all of a sudden like a oneness of perception and whereas J. Krishnamurti said there's no kind of practice, there's no how do you call it, no method, and it's either you see it or you don't see it. So in that case, there is a difference in the sense that in Buddhist meditation, it is kind of, step-by-step, methodical kind of training, whereas in the case of Krishnamurti, he refuses to give people a kind of walking stick to lean on.
Okay. There is one information seeking question from Brother R. Krishnamurti, Madurai, Tamil Nadu. He asks, respected Guruji, are you likely to conduct a Vipassana meditation in India in the near future? If so, if you could provide some information.
Okay. Well, I've done many Vipassana retreats in my life, but I am not really planning to organize another retreat in a physical sense of the word here or there. But I have been, since this pandemic, I have started to conduct guided meditations. Yeah, not days or week long, but like 1 hour or 2 hours on every Sunday afternoon. So if you would, send me an email, you find my email somewhere above, then and ask me to reply. All the replies already, there is a kind of a pre-typed, what you call a signature under my Gmail. Then you will get the Zoom link and my Facebook link and other link to all my talks and even YouTube channel. So you can actually then access a lot of information and also the guided meditation. There's one recorded guided meditation, which is stored in Facebook, so you don't have to wait for the Sunday afternoon. And the other one is live. If you click on the Zoom, it's only when it's on.
Okay, Sister Vinita RSMT asks, how mindful meditation can help us to go beyond mind, thoughts?
Yes. Well, actually, by practicing the awareness without likes and dislikes, and without what I call getting involved in anything. When you watch your body, feelings, and mind, those objects, and you're just watching without reacting with likes or dislikes, and also not to get involved in any of those objects, then in a state of being. That's what I usually say in the guided meditation also, that is, without trying to become something, and without trying to without trying to become something or to go anywhere. You know, you don't have to go anywhere if it is something that you're seeking, like real peace and happiness. You don't need to go anywhere, because the real peace and real happiness is already within you. But you're missing out on it because you're looking the wrong direction, basically. So if you think that by becoming something and like trying to go somewhere, then you're always running after something and not really finding it. Or if you just learn that you just can be where you are and finding what you want by just being and being and being, you might go beyond thoughts.
I could see one, I don't know, it's a question, it's a statement, it's an expression, I mean, it's a feeling, whatever. Brother C. Shinde has written it. Om Mani Padme Hum, deeper meaning. So
Deeper.
I might ask him what he wants to ask, or maybe you could explain. So
Yes. Yeah, I think he is asking that question. It sounds like.
Yeah, I am asking that question. The deeper meaning, only Olande can focus on it. So
Sure.
we'd like to know from him, what is its deeper meaning?
Well, unless we could ask His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you know, then you could get a much deeper meaning. But I'll try to give my meaning that I know. Om, in this case, is a kind of an invocation, like O, and then like O, hidden light, for instance, O. And then Mani actually comes from Manika. Manika means jewel. And then Padme is Padma in the locative sense, in the lotus. So, pray or praise to the lotus. No, the jewel in the lotus. The jewel in the lotus. And Shindeji, I hope that is a meaning, because, okay, now we're going to the meaning. Now we can go a little bit deeper. You have heard of the chakras, of course. And, you know, the chakras are also being seen as you know, different kind of petaled lotuses, including all the way up to the 1,000-petaled lotus. So with this Padma or lotus, when you are doing kind of meditation, which is focused on the third eye, basically. On the third eye, you might start seeing a kind of a star or a sun or a moon disk, but star, let's say, that is a result of focal meditation, a kind of concentration. And then that is a kind of jewel or a diamond, you could say. So when you are praising that, you could say, Om Mani Padme Hum, right? Praise to the jewel in the lotus. But now there's a funny title of a book which was written by a group of rabbis, you know, Jewish rabbis from the United States, who are in discussion, dialogue with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And for many years already that has been going on. They found that in their particular religion, it's too formal and too stultified and not interesting anymore. So they were looking for something else, and they found there's a lot in Buddhism, especially they became friends with the Dalai Lama. And then they came out with a book, and it says, The Jew in the Lotus. Like a Jewish person sitting cross-legged inside a big lotus flower. That is the front cover of the book. But of course, that is only a sort of a joke. A Jewish joke. But the meaning of this, let's say, mantra, praise to the jewel in the lotus, is that kind of star or light in your third eye, is a kind of, yeah, goal that you could strive for or praise that and stay with it. That is not the kind of, actually not the satipatthana mindfulness meditation, but more a tranquility meditation.
Okay, Brother Shikhar, do you see any more question through YouTube? Because I don't see any more question coming in the chat from participants here. Anyone would like to ask, come on video and ask, that's okay. Or we would go ahead with our meditation sessions.
Yeah, no more question in the YouTube.
Yes, Shikhar?
No more question in the YouTube.
Okay, so over to you.
Just one. Sorry.
Sutta Pathan. Could you please explain on Sutta Pathan?
What is that?
Sutta Pathan.
No, satipatthana.
Satipatthana. Yes, sorry. Sati.
Yes. The sati is mindfulness.
Yes.
And patthana means the foundations. So it's the foundations of mindfulness. And it is mentioned there are 4 foundations of mindfulness: the body, the feelings, the mind, and the qualities or the characteristics of mind and matter. So this kind of meditation is also called Satipatthana Bhavana. But I hope that tomorrow, because we have another session tomorrow, we can go into it a little bit more deeply, because we just scratched the surface today from the Satipatthana Sutta.
Tomorrow it will be vividly described. Okay.
Yeah, from 5 o'clock.
Okay. I can see Sister Sheetal Gole writing. Probably she's referring to the previous question, Om Mani Padme Hum, deeper meaning. She's writing, is that related to capital KA, the 8th chakra?
Oh, there is an 8th chakra. Where is the 8th chakra? Is it somewhere above your head, if I may ask?
Sister Sheetal, if you're there, if you could explain your question.
Yes, refer to
while in study of chakras, he has referred to the 8th chakra. It is above our head, and that is called Ka chakra. That's why I asked.
Well, as far as I know, it is not directly related as far as the teachings about it is concerned, but it might, if there is such a thing as the 8th chakra above the head, it might influence if you do the, for instance, the Kundalini yoga, and then go to the Sahasrara chakra, then you're very close to this 8th chakra. So could be that it is influencing that 8th chakra, really speaking. But I'm not familiar with it, I must say.
Sister Sanjeen is writing, can you please enlighten us on the Pragya Paramita?
Oh yes. Enlighten us on the Pragya Paramita. Well, in the Mahayana literature, there are books and books and books and books with 84,000 verses on the Prajna Paramita. So I would wish you good luck if you would like to know more about it from the books. But Prajna Paramita, actually it is in the Mahayana practice of 6 paramitas, not like the 10 paramitas in Theravada. It is the final of the 6 paramitas. So it is a good quality of wisdom, basically, that should be developed. And Prajna Paramita is, in that enumeration, the final one and maybe the highest one to be developed. So Prajna, now, so that is an important thing that comes to my mind, namely that Prajna means wisdom, but it is not meant to be an accumulation of knowledge only. Prajna means wisdom, which is experienced through direct vision and not through just reading about it or hearing about it. It could arise by hearing about it from a realized sort of person, but it has to come basically from within.
There is one question from Brother Gopi Krishna Kidambi. He writes,
thank you so much.
Please tell me practical tips to develop concentration power.
And so, Gopinath, you want this in how many minutes? Sorry to be a little bit facetious, but tips. There are many. You can buy, for instance, books called Buddhism for Dummies, for instance, or something like that, or Meditation for Dummies. There you find very good tips for concentration power. I would say that people sometimes think that meditation means concentration and think that concentration is the same as meditation. And if they cannot concentrate, then they cannot meditate. And then when they are meditating and they find they can't concentrate, they give it up altogether because they think, oh, I can't meditate because I can't concentrate. So now that is, I think, a basic failure or misunderstanding of what is meditation. Because like what I mentioned, when you are watching body, feelings, and mind, all kinds of things might come to your mind, but don't worry about it. Never mind those things. Just let them come and go. Watch it, and being in the present moment, that is the kind of concentration, not whether you can concentrate on a particular object, but whether you can be aware in the present moment. Then these things will come and go, come and go. That is the nature of those objects. And if you try to sort of suppress them and force yourself to be concentrating on something, then yeah, it becomes a problem.
Brother Ramanathan writes, our mind is influenced by emotions, which is the result of past remembrance. It is conditioned by our indriyas over the years. It pulls down our consciousness to the level of I am physical body only. In this situation, can we go deeper into the mindful meditation?
You're from Thrissur in Kerala, is it? Maybe Thrissur in Kerala. So basically, you're talking about a kind of situation where you identify too much with your emotions and your thoughts, your past experiences and the memories that come up because of it, and not giving your mind a chance to sort of transcend from those levels. So, of course, we are the physical body in one way. You can't deny that you are the physical body, but you're not only the physical body, you're also mental body and your psychic body and your different subtle body. So, but we don't always think about that. You don't have to sort of worry about it. But the main thing is, I suppose, if you are, mindful meditation, you should start, I suppose, with just being mindful of what you are doing. Now, for instance, if you find it very difficult to meditate sitting, you might want to first do some walking up and down, walking mindfully, sort of lifting, forward, placing, lifting, forward, placing, lifting, forward, placing. Feel your feet going up, forward and down, touching, and then be aware of your movements. And then when you're getting a bit tired of walking, we think this is enough, then you sit down and practice it while sitting. But then if you think, now I've done my meditation and now I'm going back to my chaotic everyday life, yeah, then it doesn't have much meaning. It should also be like a kind of, how do you call it, a transition from the meditation to your daily life, and not too much of a separation, saying that, I've done my meditation and now it's over, and so, yeah, that will be very difficult. If I may sort of intervene a little bit here, namely it's 6:49, almost 6:50, and I cannot do a meditation within, Ravi, all the best. Yeah, nice. even a very short meditation, let's say this may be a meditation which we call metta bhavana. It is on loving kindness for oneself and all other beings. It's kind of introduction before the vipassana or satipatthana meditation. Usually when we sit down, we calm down, and then I do this guided metta bhavana, metta meditation, and that will give you a very good peaceful feeling. And by that time, there may not be much time left for anything else in the form of satipatthana, but we have another day tomorrow, and we could try to limit the number of questions, perhaps a little bit more that time.
Yes, so we end the question and answer session here. You may start the meditation session.
Yes, indeed.
Over to you, sir.
So let us sit for meditation. The body straight, yet relaxed. The eyes gently closed or half open. Letting go of all the thoughts about past and future. And bringing your attention into the present moment. At first, by feeling your feet on the floor, feeling your body touching the cushion, the chair. Feeling your legs and trunk. Your hands and arms. Your neck and head. All the way to the very top of your head. And from top to toe, being aware of your whole body sitting here now. And when you really feel you're sitting here, let us then develop more metta, universal loving kindness for all beings, including yourself and starting from yourself by wishing from your heart, may I be free from anger and fear. May I be free from greed, hatred, and delusion. May all beings, near and far, be free from conflict and suffering. May all beings, human, animal, the visible and invisible, be well, peaceful, and happy. May all beings in all directions, above, below, in front of me, behind me, to my right, to my left, and all around, in all directions, near and far. May all beings be well, peaceful, and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sambi satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Now, towards the end of the meditation, before opening your eyes, it is good to just feel your body sitting here once again. And then to become aware gradually of your surroundings, including the sounds around you near and far. And the silence around you and within you. And while relaxing body and mind, you can slowly, slowly open your eyes.
come back. So we end this session of today, and the same time tomorrow we would have session 2 of the day 2. Before we conclude, I would request Sister Rina Sahu for conducting the closing prayer. And after the prayer, we'll be off.
Pranam to all the members present in the meeting. Om Sarvesam Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesam Santir Bhavatu Sarvesam Purnang Bhavatu Sarvesam Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinam Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu Na Kaschid Dukha Bhave Om Santi 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 Om.
So the day 1 is closed. See you all tomorrow, same time, 5
All the
p.m.
best to everybody.
Thank you all.
Sir.
Thank you all for
Thank
attending.
you
Thank you.
to each one and everyone for participating in the online platform. Thank you, sir. Tomorrow
Yes.
at same time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night to everyone. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
We'll
Good
meet
night,
tomorrow.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Greetings to all. Thank you very much for meeting all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Sir, I am closing the link.